My last Planecast, I talked about what I learned during the COVID pandemic, and the first thing had to do with single points of failure and creating distributed systems. And this one's a little different. I'm going to use the airplane as an example to discuss the issue of overreacting to a problem and actually making it worse. And so the popular myth in the news and media about aviation is that airplanes cannot land gear up safely. So you see here is the landing gear on the airplane. You can see the wheels down there. This airplane has retractable landing gear just like a jet. And the deal is that unlike popular myth, it turns out gear up landings are totally safe. And the challenge is when pilots actually try and save the ship, so to speak, and rather than just going ahead and landing a gear up, they try to be a hero and somehow get the wheels to come down. And that tends to be actually what kills people. So it turns out the solution is more deadly or more expensive than the actual problem they're trying to solve. I've got some more examples of that in aviation and business. I'll tell you when I get back in the airplane.
In 1972, an Eastern Airlines L-1011 crashed in the Florida Everglades. The landing gear had actually been down, but they had a light bulb failure. And so, if you see right here, there's 3 green lights. One of those lights was burned out. They were afraid the wheels weren't down, so they went down in the wheel well and fooled around. While the airplane was on autopilot, the autopilot clicked off. Nobody noticed because they're all busy looking at the landing gear. The airplane descended into the Florida Everglades and killed over 100 people. Also, a little twin-engine plane. Pilot decided to try and be a hero and get the gear down and pull a bunch of aerobatic maneuvers. Instead of causing the wheels to come down, he caused the wings to come off. That was the end of that. In business, I see a lot of clients trying to protect themselves against legal problems that are small if almost never occur. And they tie our hands, for example, by forcing us to promise that every single line of code that we ever write belongs to them. And then they come to us with a whole bunch of other software components that someone else has designed or built. They want us to negotiate deals and include them in their software and whatever. And of course the answer has to be no, because we've signed an agreement that says we can't do anything that isn't hand-coded by us and belong to the customer. So we see all kinds of issues with IP challenges that come up when customers want to be flexible and move fast and get their software to market, but they have to compromise on things. Similarly, a friend of mine got a job recently with a multinational corporation in an office out in the West Coast. He spent 2 months waiting for the IT people and the security people to give her authorization to access the system she needed to work. The irony is, she already worked for the company before in a different position in a different office. Again, 2 months of wasted time, no reason for it. So it's taking a small issue, which is a potential security flaw or a potential legal issue, turning it into a huge cluster that jeopardizes the entire project. I've seen myself do it. I've seen other people do it. I'd love to hear your stories about how you avoid taking small problems and turning them into big ones, and maybe some lessons you've learned doing it. And as always, I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. Thanks.